Tuesday, December 17th, just so everybody's aware, my AirPods went through the wash yesterday. Now, I think I have the version 3. They're the ones with the short stems but big earbuds that without the silicone. I don't like the silicone. I may get new AirPods. They went through the wash yesterday. I put them in rice for about 12 hours. They work perfectly fine. I did a little Google search, and I guess it's rather normal for them to go through the wash. The case, the AirPods, everything went through the wash. They're fine. They're fine. You know, bullish Apple. Bullish Apple. We got a big show, and I'll talk about Alpha Picks. I'll talk about why the Nasdaq is hitting all-time highs. I will be talking about MicroStrategy, of course, with Bitcoin hitting all-time highs again. I'll be talking about Steve Cress's top 10 stocks, small caps. We'll be talking about one that I thought was pretty interesting yesterday. That was brought up by Trendspider folks. We'll talk about eight breakout stocks to watch. We'll talk about an EV player that is actually outpacing Tesla for the last month. We'll talk about why I'm going to take out a stock from the core portfolio and why. We'll look at some of the chip stocks. NVDA is getting killed by a few chip stocks. Which ones are they? The top 2025 picks continues on with some major banks saying, hey, here's the top picks. And then we'll go into Tesla. And we'll go into Tesla and some of the maybe some of the best stocks to play in the Santa Claus rally. So it's a big show. First off, new Alpha pick yesterday. Ironically, I looked at this one months ago. Okay, let's just look at QQQ real quick. We're still up there. We still have confirmation. It's nothing to worry about. Today may be down. Remember, the Fed meets today, but the announcement comes tomorrow. Nothing really is going on. It's a quarter point that's baked in. If they don't do a quarter point, any dip in this market, I think you should buy. There you go. There's your look at the market. Now, yesterday's stock, that was from Alpha Pick. I looked at this one. Its all-time high at 2022 would be a double from here. I actually wound up buying more than the 1% allotment that Seeking Alpha or Alpha Picks tells you to get. I bought probably 2 or 3% just because I like this one. I like the way the chart looked. I made that decision on my own. Doesn't mean anything. For those Alpha Picks subscribers, though, what I wanted to point out is when you got the news of which pick it was, it's a small cap stock. Okay, it is a small cap stock, and I'm not allowed to tell you exactly what it is. But I will tell you, this is a 5-minute chart of what it looks like when the announcement came out. Alpha Picks is becoming a very popular service. And understand, I saw this with Motley Fool back in the early 2000s as they were releasing their picks at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You would see a 10% pop. That's a 10% candle right there. So if you're an Alpha Picks member, just understand that, yes, there will be some volatility because of this. But it was one that I picked. It is, let's see, serving over 5 million members, facilitating more than $90 billion in loans to date. The company's Q3 2024 results showed strong momentum with the organization up sequentially. I'll put all this in the newsletter. A balance sheet of 25% year-to-date growth. The company has demonstrated successful execution of transition from solely and lending place facilitator to a hybrid bank model. Recent bank partnerships expected to generate over $1 billion in new loans. The total return of Alpha Picks portfolio outperforms the S&P 177% versus 60%. How can you get Alpha Picks? Well, there's 2 ways. You can get it in the bundle. If you go to my link tree, linktr.ee/dailystockpick, you can get it in the bundle. And that's why I suggest you save over $159. That bundle is the second link. Or you can go down to the 4th link, okay? And you can just get Alpha Picks. What is Alpha Picks? It's 2 stocks per month. They're data-driven. I just read you why they picked it, okay? It's a small cap stock. It is a stock that I would never think to get into. And what's the great part about this? They tell you when to sell. They alert you when to sell. So it's a managed portfolio. You buy 1% each time they tell you. So I put $50,000 in. So I was expected to buy $500 this time. I will rebalance on a quarterly basis. And they give you the exact percentage of what it is in your portfolio, in their portfolio. So you can rebalance whenever you want. I will be doing that once per quarter. So just FYI, Trendspider's holiday sale, it's starting tomorrow. So that top link of Trendspider right now on my link tree, you can sign up for it if you like. It's obviously great. If you want just the standard price, I don't think is going down by that much. So if you want it today, you can get it. But if you can wait till tomorrow, just wait till tomorrow. The reality of this is it's not on sale today, so I would push it, but knowing that a sale is coming up tomorrow, they've let me know that, and I think I'm okay saying that. Just wait a day. And tomorrow's sale, I will steer you towards the advanced tier. Because remember, if you paid for this today, it's $2,682 for the year. Just remember that. Go and take a screenshot of the advanced tier and the pricing so that when I show you the price tomorrow, and that's a 50% savings, by the way. That's a 50% savings off the regular price. But when I show you the savings tomorrow, I want you to know what a value is for the advanced tier. So go and look at that. Go and look at that. Me personally, I'll be releasing my year-end results for my own personal account in the newsletter. So if you want to go and sign up for the newsletter, it's right here on the link tree. It's down here. It's free every weekday. It is free. There is a post that goes along with all of the links that I share, and it's stories and things of that sort. I try and make it as entertaining as possible. But if you listen to the podcast, it's almost like for those boomers out there, it's Cliff Notes. It's a Cliff Notes version of the podcast. And it's great to go along with it and things of that sort. So while I'll be releasing my personal accounts, you should be tracking your performance. And the reason you want to track your year-to-date performance, track it against QQQ and VOO. You do not want to spend the amount of time that I spend managing my portfolio and this podcast and beat VOO and QQQ year after year by just 1%. It's not worth it. The value is going to be if you blow away VOO and QQQ. FYI, I am not blowing them away this year, but there is a very good reason why, and I will disclose this when I put that out. So just understand that one's there. We looked at that one. Now, Nasdaq logs a record close and S&P up as Wall Street looks to final 2024. I thought this was important to kind of look at because, again, the Nasdaq and the QQQ, it's at all-time highs. Do you want to trim? I don't think so. And when I look at QQQ, I say, hey, we have a quarter point rate that's baked in tomorrow. We have an administration that is coming up that is fairly strong towards business. And I think it's good. Again, I think it's a good time to just get in. And there's an article that's coming up, and I'll go over it, explaining why we're at all-time highs and what's driving it. And that's, again, coming up. I'm going to explain that with a news story. But I just wanted you to know, hey, the Nasdaq recorded an all-time high. We're seeing the Dow and the Nasdaq diverge. I'm going to go over why with an article. But if you're wondering, Bitcoin also set an all-time high. And if you are selling Bitcoin for some reason, this man is buying it. The MicroStrategy bought $1.5 billion of Bitcoins last week. And if you have Trendspider, I would urge you, it's not within everybody's risk tolerance, but I would urge you, take a look at MSTR, okay? It got you in at 403. It also got you in at 398 the day later. I would urge you to look at the 4-hour algorithm that I provide to you when you sign up for Trendspider through my link. I would urge you, because this is a stock that, again, I think it's a Ponzi scheme. I think it's just built on that kind of logic where he's just going to buy a bunch of Bitcoin. If Bitcoin does start to tumble, I think you've got to get out quickly. But this algorithm makes you more money than buy and hold, and you win 50% of the time. So if it makes sense within your strategy, I would urge you that this might be something that you want to look into in order to outpace the market. And for all the haters calling MicroStrategy a Ponzi scheme, it probably is. Watch this video. That video is just fantastic. He talks about, Sarah Eisen asked him, What do you think about the people who say, hey, it's a Ponzi scheme, that, you're just buying this and it's going to go up and then you're, you're never selling it, blah, blah, blah. He says, yeah, it is a Ponzi scheme. And so is real estate, because developers borrow money in order to expand their own real estate. It's what they do. So how is that not a Ponzi scheme? Now, Steve Cress also released his small but mighty top 10 small caps for 2025. This is a free article. I read it in the comments. I don't think that they're charging for it. So even if you're not a Seeking Alpha member, even if you're not paying for the premium service, I think you can get this. So go and look at this. Steve Cress has a way of actually making very good picks, and he goes over his top picks from September are up 20%. 20% is top five picks from September. And these are small caps. These are things that I don't look at. I don't look at all. So I thought that was interesting. Now, in relation to, did want to go over, the concluding summary, and that's what I wanted to go down to, the concluding summary on this. And I'll put it in the newsletter. But the concluding summary was interesting. The lower interest rate environment, expectations that Trump's protectionist economic agenda could benefit domestic U.S. companies have caused small cap stocks to thrive in recent months. Small caps tend to benefit from a lower rate environment due to cheap. Seeking Alpha's quant recent small cap selections have delivered more than 18% returns in under 2 months, beating the broader market and smaller companies. Again, read this. Go and read that last article. It's free. But in discussing the recent alpha pick with Trendspider, folks, I was interested to see what they thought, and we talked about it yesterday. This is a stock, Upstart, and I wanted to bring this up. I am not a super fan of this one. I do believe that it's not a horrible company, but I do want to kind of just point out, over the last 24 and a half months, you've made 201% on 31 positions. Okay, it's a lot of positions. I don't like that, but it is a lot of positions. You win 42% of the time. The average win is 27%. The algorithm got you right in before their earnings, okay, at 53. You're trading at 83 right now. You're trading at 83. Now, when I look at the weekly, I see it coming up. You just have your 200-day. Guess where it's trading? Right above the 200-day. So maybe your support is 70. And when you go and look at this one in Seeking Alpha and you look at it, it's a strong buy in the quant. And it just turned to a strong buy at 84 just the other day. So everybody's been asking me, how do you know when stocks turn to strong buy? I just got lucky. I looked at this one and it turned to a strong buy. And again, Trendspider folks brought this to me. And the reason they brought this to me is they've been in it since 20. And when you look at $20, it's interesting because I took their guidance and I said, when I look at 20, look at that support level. Look at that. I mean, even if you bring this back here at $20, you can see it bumped up here and then it just rejected. And then it broke right through. And what did it pull back to? 20. And then it jumped back up. And what did it pull back to? 20. And then where's it going now? Probably up to 120. That would be my guess. If we want to look at Wall Street, what does Wall Street say that it's worth? Their average price target is 61. There are 16 analysts that cover this. But the revisions, B-. 11 up, 3 down on earnings per share in the last 90 days. 13 up, nobody down on revenue in the last 90 days. So this could be one that you may want to look at. And again, I did that chart, that weekly chart. I'll include this. Now, we talked about I did, one thing on Upstart, I wanted to bring this one up too. If you go to the summary and look at the virtual analyst report, I want you to look at Seeking Alpha quant explanations and look at the valuation and everything like that. I want to also show you the positives raised by analysts on Seeking Alpha and concerns. This is interesting. And again, I think this virtual analyst report is worth the price of admission. Now let's talk about why the Dow is struggling, and it's an interesting thing. This article kind of explains it a little bit more, and it makes sense to me. It makes sense that the tariffs and the Trump administration policies they very well may raise inflation. And so you're seeing the Fed. I think you're going to see a 1/4 point rate cut today. They could go 1/2 point, just assuming that the new administration is going to do tariffs. You don't exactly know what they're going to do. But tariffs and the Trump policies may raise inflation. And economists say that could be the case. If that's the case, the Dow and the Nasdaq are diverging. And the hypothesis is it's because money is going back to safety. And where has been the safety and where has been the growth in the last, say 5-10 years? It's been in large cap tech. And yes, I have benefited from that. I think that's what's interesting about this. More records for the Nasdaq as the Dow continues to struggle. And yes, the Dow is missing out because of UNH. And we'll go over UNH in a little bit. But I thought this article was particularly important to read because, again, you want to look at those indexes and you want to make sure that you understand which particular indexes are doing well, which particular indexes aren't, and why. And I'm just in QQQ heavily, and it's because I'm a large cap tech investor. Now, I brought up SoundHound last week, and I thought it was important to show. It was up 20%. I'm sorry, 16 at $20. Okay, SOUN. And I brought it up because on their earnings, they had announced that they had actual customers. And I thought that was important. And so November 12th, when I brought this one up and I said, hey, they actually have customers. This one might not be a bad one. It was trading at $7. It makes sense. Again, the business makes sense. SoundHound price target more than doubles on new AI voice offerings from Wedbush. Wedbush maintains its outperform rating on the stock, increased its price target to $22. It's trading at $19. So I don't know that you necessarily want to buy it on this one. Maybe wait for a little bit of a pullback, and pre-market it's down 2% at $19.24. But have it on your radar because I do think that the actual business model and actual customers make sense for this one. But understand it is still very, very immature from a company standpoint. Now, 8 breakout stocks to watch: EA Flutter, Aristanet, Cloudflare. These are interesting because they're breaking out. And who is it? Oppenheimer said to watch them. I looked at the charts yesterday. I liked it. Everybody's hitting me up on quantum stocks. Quantum stocks went crazy. I'm going to give you quantum stocks from Eli. He made a comment, a great comment, and just a great strategy that I thought was fantastic. We have IONQ up 23% yesterday. We have QUIBT, which was up 65% yesterday. We have QBTS, which was up 44% yesterday. We have RGTI, which was up 17% yesterday. So again, these stocks continue to run. You don't want to ignore them. If you're a trader, you want to get in them. If you're an investor, Eli has a strategy for you that's been working for him. So we'll bring that up in a little bit. Now, if anybody saw this yesterday, he targeted PBMs, the pharmacy benefit managers at Mar-a-Lago. He said, I'm not going to be very popular. We're going to knock out the middlemen. And that's what he's targeting. And UNH was down 4%. Now it's under $500. I have brought this up before that you want to buy UNH under $500. I thought buying it under $6 was fantastic. And then the CEO gets murdered and it all of a sudden just spurs this conversation about managed healthcare. And does it make sense to have managed healthcare? I'm probably going to take UNH out of the core portfolio. And the reason isn't because it's not a good company. It's because there are some social, this is like Target. There are some social issues with this one. And it is still very, very expensive. So understand an 18 PE, okay, is right at the sector median, but they are going after their bread and butter. And that's the problem that you're going to have. The actual benefits manager of this company is what has been growing at the largest pace. So when Trump says, hey, we're going to go right after them, he's going right after UNH. So don't think that this one can't go down any lower. If we want to look at a weekly chart of this one and you look at it, I think that 200-day is just providing support right now. But if you break that, you're going down to 450. Now, do I think that you should buy it at 450? I think it makes sense but you have to dollar cost average your way in. I wouldn't go in, I wouldn't go balls deep on this one just because it hits 450. Doesn't mean that it can't come down here to 380. Okay, where 380 was right here. It just means we've got a loser. And if you currently hold this in your portfolio, anytime it pops over 500, I would absolutely sell it. It's a 495 right before in the pre-market. Now, I wanted to bring this up as well because the hottest stock is not Tesla. It's RIVN. It's RIVN. And this article pointed it out to me. RIVN shot up 6.575% yesterday. Okay, in pre-market, it's down a little bit less than 1%. But this amazed me. And when I looked at the chart, this is a chart over 1 month. Everybody's talking, 1 month ago, it was right after the election. And Tesla was going up incredibly. Okay, Tesla has been on 35% in 1 month is nothing to be, shake your head at. That's Tesla. RIVN is up 47% in 1 month. I don't know what it is. Again, this article pointed out that, hey, with the $7,500 lost, they might actually not benefit much. But looking ahead, RIVN was noted to appear. This is particularly well positioned with contracts with Amazon and Volkswagen, highly rated models on the market, and expected positive gross profit in the current quarter. They will short bets on RIVN are still fairly high at 14%. It could be a minimal short squeeze. People may be, getting out of their shorts in order to take some capital gains this year, and maybe that's what's pushing it up. Is they're trying to buy the stock back? Could be. But I thought this was particularly, incredible. Now, another one that I found incredible when looking at this was NVDA. This is over 1 month. Okay, this is over 1 month. Let's look at this because this is NVIDIA over 1 month is down 4.47%. During that 1 month, that green line, that's Marvell. I don't know Marvell. It's up 42%. Okay, the blue line that you see shoot up here is AVGO. That's Broadcom. I do own this one. This one just shot up with its earnings and it's continuing higher. This is up in 1 month 53%. But you can see that blue line didn't shoot up until earnings. That Marvell didn't shoot up until earnings. Now, what's down here just lingering? It's Micron, MU, which is up 12%. That's better than NVIDIA. It is Lam Research, which is up 11%. That's better than NVIDIA. And the other blue line is VOO. That's up 3% in 1 month, which is better than NVIDIA. So does NVIDIA have a chance to come back? NVIDIA, to me, is not something that you just invest in over 1 month. I think money is coming out of here. And I think it's going to other places. And I think a lot of people, I talk about this. A lot of people are up year to date on NVIDIA. NVIDIA is one of the big winners of the year. I don't think that the valuation is particularly crazy, but if we just go to year to date on this one, it's up 166%. And the 52-week range is between 47 and 152. Okay? That is not something that people are going to take some profits at the end of the year. And they're going to take it in some of their high flyers. And one that particularly is going to be taken is NVIDIA, because at $3 trillion, most likely it's not going to $6 trillion next year. And if Broadcom talks about all the hyperscalers making their own chips through 2027, the potential is maybe they're moving away from NVIDIA. But Blackwell is sold out. I believe in this company. I believe that it will be back up to the 140s. I think buying the dip is an opportunity. Do you want to buy it now? I'd argue no. And the only reason I would argue no is because the 4-hour algorithm has you out. And so when I make my decisions to buy, I don't try and time it. I don't try and time it on the way down. I try and time it on the way up. And on the way down is fine. If you want to get out of this one, you want dollar cost average your way down and wait until it goes up, that's fine. But my strategy is the 4-hour algorithm. So that's just my thought. Now let's talk about some top 2025 picks. Again, Microsoft, Amazon, and Google. Jefferies is saying they are the top AI software winners in 2025. You're going to see this a lot. talking about, here's the top winners of 2025. And you're going to see that. Just understand, remember, these analysts that had their S&P targets weren't right. So you have to make your picks. And if you think that Amazon, Microsoft, and Google are winners, put them in your portfolio. They're in the core portfolio. If you think all three, but you don't want to split it up among all three, just buy the Qs. It's as simple as that. We're going to go, if you're doing your year-end review and you didn't beat the Qs, just buy more Qs. Because obviously you're just not picking the right stocks. So buy the Qs, add more money to the Qs, and get out of the single stock exposure. And maybe as you start to see some winners, you start adding to those. Take the money out of the Qs and put it into your winners. Again, if it's beating the Qs, it's all a little game. But one of the ones that keeps coming up is Dell. Dell, Seagate, and others. Morgan Stanley says, stay the course for 2025. And Dell again. And you want to see another one? Dell and Seagate, among others, in focus, as Morgan Stanley says, stay the course for 2025. I guess I put that one in there twice. But yeah, Dell it's just, the story continues to go for Dell. I thought, let me see, open with Google Chrome. I thought I put another one in there. Hold on. I'm going to go look at Dell because there was a Arista Networks one in there. I guess not. Oh, maybe this one. Data centers review. No, maybe. I thought Arista Networks was in one, but maybe not. But I'll look at it and put it in the newsletter. Now, Tesla's price target from Mizuho goes up by 11%. 11% from here. Okay? Their price target, let's see. Let me do $515. $515. You're trading at $463. So $515. We can look at Tesla. We can look at the chart. The 4-hour algorithm is killing it. Got you in here at 250. Got you in at 250. And I said, hey, I don't know that I'm going to buy at 250. I didn't buy at 250. I bought at 260. I'm sorry, 280. 280 was where I started buying this one. And I'm just holding. I'm just enjoying it. It's not a very large position at all, but I'm enjoying it because I'm in, less than $1,000, but I'm in it. The 4-hour algorithm works on this one. It makes you 452% against buying and holding 164%. It's 21 positions. It's less than one a month. You win 52% of the time. And again, you make 452%. I remember talking to my buddy and telling him at 250, hey, the stock ain't going above 260. 260 is that resistance level. You should absolutely sell it. And I sold at 250. And then I got back in at a very small position. I am in this one in XLY, and I've said that before. Will I get in larger? I probably will. I just don't want to get in larger at 460. I'd rather get in closer to 400. I don't know that I'm going to have the opportunity, but I'm still in it in XLY. So I'm not going to chase it. I am going to try and put money in when it pulls back a little bit. God, that run. And again, if I was in RIVN, it'd be the same thing. I don't want to add to it. It's up too much too far. But RIVN, I think, in my mind, has more upside than Tesla does. If they start making money, that's the issue. So I think that one's interesting. Now, anybody that's looking to pull back, by the way, Mizuho upgraded the stock to outperform. The analyst pointed out that Tesla is positioned favorably over the next few years with potential tailwinds, including AI, autonomous driving with FSD, robotaxi technologies. Rakesh pointed out the new policies under the Trump administration, such as the repeal of consumer EV tax credits, could give Tesla a competitive edge with its lower EV cost structure compared to peers. That's essentially what it is. Now, Loop Capital is saying, hey, Netflix, it's a little high at 921. You may want to think about pulling this one back. Am I pulling back? Well, let's go and look at the 4-hour algorithm. I would say no. Right now, I'm no. Does it have the possibility of pulling back to like 876? Yeah. Am I looking to get rid of this one? No. I'm not looking to add to it right now with the valuation. The valuation is a bit nuts. It's a bit crazy. The quant has you as a hold, and the only reason is the valuation. Now, even when you look at the PEG ratio at 1.83, it's high compared to its peers. So it's a little bit hard for me to say, hey, add to it here. I'm not getting rid of my Netflix. That's the one subscription that I've had for a very long time. An idea here, worst performing stocks for tax loss selling. So the theory here is that during the time when the Santa Claus rally, the last 2 weeks of the year and the first 2 weeks of next year, during that time where these people are selling some of these stocks for tax loss harvesting, they may actually get a bounce. And historically, analysts seen a bounce trade of the worst performing stocks as the end of the tax loss selling approaches. So essentially, when people are done selling for tax loss harvesting reasons, these things tend to pop back up. And so it's a good list of, hundreds of stocks for you to take a look at. And if you find one, have at it. Cleveland Cliffs is down 46% year to date. I've said that one many times that I thought it was a trade. It's down at $9. So I thought that was interesting. It's just an interesting kind of, for you traders out there that want to take advantage of the last part of the year. Sirius XM is one that's in there. Now, Eli, we talked about the quantum stocks. He's got a great strategy here. And I'll kind of summarize it, and you should go read it. And I'm only going to summarize it, so the details are in Substack. If you go to and subscribe to Substack, you can get access to the newsletter chat. And I don't know if it's in a paid thread. If you want a free 7-day trial, you can get it. It's the holiday season. Say, hey, Gary, can I get free 7-day trial? Absolutely. I think it's in there automatically. But his strategy here is very good. And he points out he's trading IONQ, QUBT, and QBTS. And what's interesting is Eli is using the exact tools that I tell you to do. Okay, QUBT. Let's look at this one. He is basically going into Seeking Alpha, and he's decided, hey, these are the quantum stocks that I want to trade. Now let me go to Trendspider and look at the 4-hour algorithm. And how does it do? Well, the 4-hour algorithm over the last 24 months on QUBT, it makes you 492%. Buying and holding makes you 500%. So Eli said, well, I'm going to look at these. Oh, it's got you in. Well, I'm going to buy here at $1. Not big. Well, you're at $11 right now. If you had gotten in and looked at confirmation anywhere in this realm, you would be at $11. It started here. The quantum trade started maybe in November. And when you look at it, it was at $4. You could have tripled your money. Now, let's look at one of his other ones. It's QBTS. And when I tell you that you could pay for your Trendspider subscription if you're trading it enough, absolutely. QUPTS, the algorithm over the last 24 months makes you 562%. 562%. Buying and holding makes you 202%. And the reason you're making 562 is this trade right here. It got you in November 7th at $1.44. The earnings came out, dipped down to $1.64. You're trading at $7.22. Okay, that's one that he's trading as well. Another one he's trading is IONQ. And he points out, by the way, these are all in the quant. They are good stocks. IONQ just got you in at 41.78. Am I buying IONQ at 41.78? I'm not, but some people might. The valuation to me doesn't make sense. It's not within my wheelhouse. But if you look at the 4-hour algorithm and quantum computing is something that you want to get into, this one trading, and I would assume that everyone is trading these because you can't pick the winner. If you want to pick the winner in quantum computing, Google just put out the press release that was amazing to people. And so buy Google. They're the ones making, that is a great company. IONQ, they have some contracts. They're not bad. QUBTS, QB, whatever those other ones are. I don't know enough about them to talk, but I'd highly doubt that they have significant revenues. But they obviously have a runway. But we're still 8 to 10 years out from quantum being a realistic thing. So again, the algorithm gets you right in here at 41. Look at 323%. 323%. You win 42% of the time. Now, Shai Bular, who is in on this one, he said the valuation doesn't make sense. So he's staying out of it. But I think that Eli has done great research. He has done great. He has the great tools like Trendspider, and he's got a strategy that works. So if you want that strategy, go and read about it. And again, kudos to you, Eli. I think it's not that hard to find these things and do it. And by the way, I made mention in the Facebook group yesterday. I think I trade far less than people think I trade, and I still beat the S&P and the Qs. So, year over year, I do. Do I beat them by a lot? Not every year. Not every year. But most years, I do beat them by quite a bit. But I'm not in there and out of there. The one account with my MicroStrategy this year, I think MicroStrategy, I made 6 digits gain on that one. I think it was close to 6 digits. But, I got out. I ain't got the diamond hands, no. And MicroStrategy is trading at 413. So, again, kudos to anybody that took that trade. So, let's talk about scans. These are stocks that show bullish tendencies, and one that in the 4-hour algorithm, and it's just a technical strategy. And one is Dell. We talked about how Dell is a great opportunity for 2025, and everybody's saying that. 120. Okay, you're trading at 118. The algorithm got you in here at 120. You win 73% of the time. Maybe this is part of the 27% that you lose. This is quite a little down streak since their earnings. The MACD down low, below the oscillator. The RSI is at 38. Probably doesn't feel comfortable buying. When you look at the weekly, the RSI, the MACD has completely reset. You've traded sideways. The RSI is right at 48. It's reset. We have broken that trend line up. You got to find a new trend line. So the new trend line, maybe this is providing some support right there. If we just remove this trend line, you know what? We're going to remove that trend line because that was the old trend line that it was doing. But we're going to anchor it at the same place. And we're going to say, you know what? We're just going to anchor it here. And remember, you want to touch 3 points. And where are we? Right there. You're right on that trend line. So maybe you continue higher, because every indicator has said it reset. So Dell is one. Taiwan Semi, another core portfolio stock. Taiwan Semi looks like it got a buy in here at 204. I said if you could get this under 200, I think it's a good one. This is a buy and hold. It's trading at $200.52. If it dips under 200 today and you want to buy it because the 4-hour algorithm has you in, go and buy it. Look at the weekly. The weekly still hasn't come down. And this is still 185 is still, it was resistance, but it could turn into new support. So if you're buying right there, that may just be something of a support line. But again, you've got a positive trending stock. XLY is the sector. We talked about this one with Tesla. This one gets you in again. It didn't get you out, but it gives you a secondary entry in this one. So if I had alerts, an entry would have triggered right here yesterday. Now, another one that I want to go over, there's a lot. Abercrombie and Finch, which was up, Viking Therapeutics, SoFi, GM, Frog. There's a ton of them. But one that I want to bring up is SPMO. This is the Invesco Momentum ETF. And you can go into Seeking Alpha and research it. This one just got another buy. And look, the MACD is right on the oscillator, and it just started to cross up again. The RSI is at 62. When you look at the weekly, it is extended. Yes, it's extended. Momentum has greatly outperformed value. So I like that. If you bring it back to the 2021 highs, then value's just even with momentum. Momentum's just playing a catch up. And this one gets you a buy in the 4-hour algorithm. Again, you can do ETFs, you can do crypto, you can do anything that you want that has a chart in Trendspider. So wait till tomorrow to sign up for it, but I do think it's a good one. That's the show. Thank you. I will be back tomorrow. If you have any questions, again, everything's on Linktree. So if you want to sign up, I would tell you sign up for the bundle. There are no more sales on Seeking Alpha like Black Friday and stuff. So get it before the end of the year so that you can write it off on your taxes. Again, it's a professional thing for me, so I used to write it off on my taxes all the time. But if you have any questions, let me know. Okay.
Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. through my hopes and fears.